Painting, and we're going to be talking about the Adeptus Sororitas today. Sorry, lost my thought there for a second. Stage fright. No, just kidding. So we're going to talk about the Adeptus Sororitas, the nuns with guns, the the exciting, mostly female chapter of the Warhammer 40K universe. I personally have a Adeptus Sororitas army that I'm going to be working on. I have a few models. I don't have a lot of stuff, but I do have some stuff to work on. But what I really wanted to do, we're going to catch up on a couple things with Warhammer itself first, and then we're going to get into our combat patrol to Crusade with the Adeptus Sororitas. So the first thing that I did want to put out there, and just so everybody knows, is that the Battle Force boxes that are on pre-order right now, if you're looking for anything in specific, we are looking at the Tau, the Emperor's Children, and Votan are still available. That, of course, means that the Krieg box, the Astra Militarum, the Space Marines, the Chaos Space Marines, and the Tyranids are all already out of stock. So if that's something that you were looking for and something that you wanted to get, if you want those three armies that are available, that's good. You can get them. If you wanted the Space Marine side of that, you're kind of out of luck at this point. Hopefully you can get it at your local game store or your Warhammer store or whatever. There should be some around. And of course, same with Age of Sigmar. The only one that was still available was the Sylvaneth box, as I looked it up just now. So that being said, I didn't pre-order any of them, so I'm not getting any of them. There's a couple of them that I would be interested in. Obviously, all the stuff that's in the Krieg box. I know it's not a huge discount, but it is something that I would be I could always add into my Astra Militarum army, but it's not the right time for that right now. The Space Marine Battle Box was also another one that was actually really decent. I know my son really wanted the Chaos Space Marine one, and of course he's always looking for Tyranids, so Tyranids are always a possibility, but those are all out anyways. Emperor Children don't really hide anything for me. The Tau box, I don't think it's such a great deal. If you don't have those models, I guess it would be worth looking into. But how many people that play Tau don't already have Farsight, because he is such a beautiful model. That being said, a couple of things that happened within the last 2 weeks since the last podcast. I did order Dawn of War Onslaught. It became available through Target. We are still waiting for that to arrive, though, so I don't have it yet. I know I plan on taking a number of the models, mostly the heroes, and leave some of them for Logan to use for his Space Marines, but that's something that we're going to worry about once we get the models on hand. The other thing that I did want to mention is Army Painter had a huge sale on their Fanatic range. They got rid of everything. I did order a number of things, including their big paint set. And if you are aware or not aware, all of that sold out. In fact, they oversold everything. So we are currently still waiting to see what's going to become available. They sent us an email saying when it comes, when they're process everything, we'll get an email and find out what actually is going to show up. Hopefully we got it in early enough that we get something, if not all of it. I mean, all of it would be great, but because we ordered just over $100 worth of paints, because I have a ton of them here, and being that they're going to get rid of them, I kind of want to hang on to them. And of course, paints are such a hot commodity since there's 3 painters in this house. So we wanted to get as many paints as we can for as good of a price. So when we did that, like I said, we ordered close to, I think it was almost $300 some worth of paint, and we actually it only cost us like 104. Now, of course, like I said, if it becomes available, we can get that. If it doesn't, then hopefully we'll get our money back. And the good thing is, I'm hoping for an answer soon, because Army Painter's Black Friday sale already went up. So there's tons of new kits and stuff that are on sale for their Black Friday sale. And I'm thinking, if we didn't get the stuff for the war paints going out, the fanatics going out, then I could probably look into that. And I think that would be a fantastic addition to some of the paints that we already have. So that's kind of the news. Couple of things I did want to add on. If you're a Star Wars fan like me, obviously go check out my other podcast, which is Bounty Hunting Across the Galaxy. We actually did two things last week. My wife and I and my son, we all were on the inflatable Falcon. We also reposted that to Bounty Hunting Across the Galaxy. We read The Empire Striketh Back, which is the Shakespearean rewriting of The Empire Strikes Back. We just did the first act. It is, I think the whole thing is just over an hour. So, but there's a little banter in the beginning, a little banter at the end. So if you cut that out, I think we were just under an hour. So if you do like some Star Wars and you want to laugh, I mean, it was a good laugh. We had a good time. Everybody that watched it was pretty excited about and enjoyed it. So you can check that out. Also, last week we did Bounty Hunting Across the Galaxy. We did we recorded an episode on World Kindness Day, and we talked about, the good things that Star Wars has been there for us, Ken and I both, and also what some of the things that we plan on doing in the future. And also we talked about cars and weddings and other stuff. So it's actually pretty interesting. I just re-listened to it today, and I was pretty excited about it. I actually wanted to take a good listen to it with fresh ears, and I listened to it today, and I lived it, and I was just enthralled with it, and I listened to the whole thing, which was about an hour and 40 minutes, and I was in it for the long haul. Like, I can't believe it went by so fast. So if you want to listen to that, that's available. That's Bounty Hunting Across the Galaxy. See, I said it right the first time. That's on YouTube as well, and also on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Okay, now that that's out of the way, and I tried to get that all under 10 minutes, and congratulations, I did it. All right, so thanks for sticking in if you did. So now we're going to talk about the Adeptus Sororitas. And if you know or don't, if you don't know, let's put it this way. Adeptus Sororitas are the religion-based followers of the God Emperor, or as we say around our house, they're the nuns with guns. They all wear, not all of them, a good amount of them wear power armor, and then of course carry their bolters and stuff like that. They are empowered by acts of faith, which allows them to do some crazy things with their detachment rules and stuff like that. So what I wanted to do is just delve into these guys just a little bit and go from the combat patrol and move them up to Crusade style. So let's first talk about the combat patrol. The combat patrol is actually pretty solid. It's a nice set piece. For me, it's not a box set that I think I would get a second of, and only because I like all the units in there. I don't know that I would want 20 Arcoflagellants. So those are the um, I don't want to say slaves because that's not the right word, but the followers that are given lash tentacles or tendrils or whatever they are, and they are just sent out onto the battlefield to spread the wrath of the emperor. Um, I, I like them. They're a good, solid unit. They can be very useful. Um, I'm personally just not a big fan of them. But what I am a big fan of in that box is you get a Canoness, which is a good, solid, well-rounded character, and you get 10 Battle Sisters, which of course is your battle line unit. And as an example, that's this guy right here. This box, you get those in the combat patrol. So the other unit that you get are the Sacrosanct. Those are the ones with the mauls and the shields, or maces and shields, whatever the case may be. I forget exactly what they're carrying, but that doesn't really matter. They're the Lich Guard of the Adeptus Sororitas, so they're a good, solid, beefy unit. So with that, that's your start. You got the Canoness to lead them, Sister of Battle Squad, 5 Sacrosancts, and then 10 of the Arcoflagellants. It's a good, solid box. Unfortunately, it's like 365 points. So it is on the lower end. It is a decent box set. I guess all of them are kind of low at this point. I think they're all, the higher ones range are about 400, and the lowest ones are actually, I think the lowest one was under 200 not under 200, under 300. So there is quite a difference in some of these. They are the same as the Astra Militarum, 365 to 370. That's about average. I'm just looking through some of my notes here, see if some of them, what some of the other ones are. Blood Angels, of course, are almost 500. I don't know, I have Thousand Suns in here, but I don't see them. Anyway, so I think Thousand Suns were right around the 370, 380 mark, if I remember correctly. So they are right in the range, but they're a little bit on the low side for what I would hope for. Yeah, the Cadian one is 295. The Karst Gunners is 370. Yeah, well, all right. So anyway, let's not dwell on that. So what I would do is, and this is just my thought of the whole thing, is I would want something that really kind of brings you some meat into this army. The first thing that I thought of is they just last year they put out 2 different battle boxes, battle force boxes. There was the ones with all the Seraphim, Zephyrim. I think that also came with Saint Celestine. That would be a great box to get because I think they're very thematic for the Sisters of Battle, for the Sororitas, because those jump troops are really kind of amazing, and definitely very thematic. But the other box that they had, not quite my favorite in that one. That's the one with, it's got 2 rhinos, it's got the penitent engines, it's got a priest, and a couple other units in there. I found that's still available on Amazon for about $204. It's not a bad box, but it comes with more Arcoflagellants. It comes with Arcoflagellants, Repentia, 2 rhinos, the penitent engine, and the Minister and Priest. For me, I don't know that that's what I really want to play. I like the Penitent Engine. The Repentia are kind of cool. They're very thematic. I'm just not that big of a fan of the Arcoflagellants. just seem like they fit weird in the army. But that would be a decent box. I didn't dumb out the points for that, but I bet you it's probably pretty decent. Arcoflagellants. Let me see if I got that here. Arcoflagellants are 140 points for 10, so that would be another 140 points. The Repentia squad's 775, but I think that's only for 5. Yeah, that's only for 5. So there would be about 150 as well, plus the 2 penitent engines. And again, I'm going to check that real quick. Penitent engines are 75 for the 2. No, wait. Yeah. Yep. 75. No. Sorry, 75 each. So that's another 150. So, yeah, I mean, you could probably do that. That's 150, 150. That's 300, and 140. That's 440 plus 2 rhinos. Yeah, probably pretty close at that point. So rhinos are 75 points each, so that's another 150 plus the priest. You could actually just buy that box and be right around 1,000 points if that's what you want to do. That, of course, is a really good deal as far as getting another army started with only. I mean, you're really only buying 2 boxes. It's well, if on Amazon they're like 205 plus the combat patrol box is like about 150 on Amazon. So really, for $350, you get a 1,000-point army. That's really not a bad way to get started into a crusade. Again, you gotta love them Arcoflagellants. And that's all I'm going to say about that. If you're good with that, then I think that's a really good way to go. I actually chose a different way. It's a little pricier, but that's when you're getting into the more horde type armies, and not that Sisters of Battle is necessarily a horde army, but there is a lot. They are cheaper than Space Marines, so they are going to be more models than Space Marine as far as points. So what I did is I picked up another box of Battle Sister Squad. Luckily, like I showed before, I have one right here. I have yet to build it, but I also have this character, which would make a good Canoness. So, and that is who is that? Sister Tariana Palos. Let me hire. So that's actually a pretty decent model. Big fan of that. I actually won that as a prize. Just haven't opened it yet because I haven't needed it yet. So when I get to that point, I'm definitely going to get that open and get that model painted up. It's kind of backburnered because I've got so many other things to work on. So, and I still have stuff coming. So anyway, what I did instead of doing that, like I said, I added another squad of Battle Sisters. That gives you more play on the battlefield. I also added a Dogmata to go with them. That is a character. The Dogmata gives you some bonuses. Hold on. Gives you some bonuses. They would actually work pretty good with the Syncresis. It does have an invul save. Gives you a higher OC. And I believe decreases the leadership of enemies around you. Nothing overly exciting, but it is a 45-point upgraded model for a squad, which is actually pretty cheap. Then what I did is I went with the Paragon war suits. The war suits are actually pretty cool little mid-sized models. Basically like some robots almost like the load lifters from the Alien movies, something like that. Except they have a gun and a sword or a mace, which is kind of exciting. And then just to back that up, the only thing that I added in there was the Castigator. And Castigator is essentially, without, for somebody that doesn't know what it is, it's essentially like a Space Marine Predator, but what's the best way to say it? All religioned up. So that is a nice little tank with some serious firepower. So again, basically like a Predator, nothing super exciting, but it definitely gives you that firepower to kind of move things forward in your army and hopefully take out some heavy targets. The Paragon war suits, if I remember correctly, and let me just get into here real quick. The Paragon war suits do have a nice range of weapons. They have the war blades, which are strength 8 and minus 2 AP, which is handy. And there's four attacks with that. They also have heavy bolters or storm bolters. So they're pretty solid. They also have a nice invulnerable save, so they're a little tanky. And I get to bring that up here. Yeah, you can change to the War Mace, which does give you a little higher strength, but you lose an attack. It's also not as high a AP, but does more damage. So it is pretty solid and works pretty well. And I think a good mix of those either way would do wonders for your Adeptus Sororitas Crusade. So I think that's a solid thing to go with. Like I said, if you wanted to get those Arcoflagellants, you definitely get some more models to go in there. The Ministarum Priest is not actually terrible at what he does. He's just a little... he's not that exciting, I guess is the right way to say it. He does have basically a flamethrower pistol. He does have... they call it a Vindicator, which of course is almost like a mace on the model. I liked them better when they had the old Eviscerators. That was kind of cool. The bonus to them is while he's leading a unit, they get +1 to the wound roll. So actually, I guess he's pretty solid. And he can lead the Arcoflagellants. He can lead regular battle sister squad, Dominion squads, or Novitiate squads. So I guess he's pretty useful. I don't know why I downplayed him so bad. I just didn't think he was all that exciting when I first read him. He can also, once per battle in the fight phase, this model can use the ability. If it does, to the end of the phase, it improves the strength and attacks characteristics of melee weapons equipped by this model by 3. Oh, he's kind of a powerhouse. How many points is he? Ministarum Priest, he's 50 points. So he's actually pretty decent. I would kind of work with him, make it work. Yeah, because those Arcoflagellants have a ton of attack. Yeah. Okay, now I'm starting to rethink this thing, and maybe this is the right way to go. I mean, let me bring those Arcoflagellants up here. Arcoflagellants have... Now, they have a 7+ save, so they have no save. But they do have a 6-up invulnerable save plus feel no pain. Now, the crazy thing is the Arcoflails have 4 attacks, hit on a 4 better, strength 5, 0 AP, and sustained hits. So, and each time they select the fight, you can choose to invoke the extremist trigger word. If you do, until the end of the phase, Arcoflails equipped by the characters have attacks characteristic of 6 and the hazardous ability. So basically, you can light them up, and then, but it can kill you. And gives them 2 extra attacks. Not a bad choice. I don't know that I would really. Again, it's one of those things that it's not super but I bet you can make it work. So yeah, I don't know. If that's your thing, I would go for it. It's definitely turns it into a rush forward army. Not a bad choice. I think if you could get your hands on it, like I said, it is still available on Amazon. It's the Penitent Crusader host, $204. I mean, maybe if you got some rewards money, you can actually bring that down a little bit. I actually found another one for about 196, so that's under $200. It's actually a really good buy if you're really looking into it. So, yeah, 2 rhinos, 10-man squad of arcoflagellants, 10-man Repentia, 2 penitent engines. Boom, 2 boxes. You got your 1,000-point army. That's actually a good deal. So I would go with that. Or if you don't want that many arcoflagellants, go the other way. And of course, with all things that we do on this channel, play what you want to play, be what you want to be, and be happy with what you got. I mean, and then have some good games. Have your friends over. Enjoy beer and pretzels or whatever your drink of choice is, and and your snack of choice. I mean, you might want pizza rolls or whatever. So that's it for me. That's what I would do. That's the direction I would lead. Of course, I just gave you 2, and I agree with both of them. So, who am I? I'm no expert. Just been doing it for 20 some years. So, yeah, if you want to start an Adeptus Sororitas army, it's not a bad time to start. Like I said, just under, what did I say, 350? Just under 350, you could have yourself a Adeptus Sororitas 1,000-point army. All right. So that's it for me. I'm Todd from Table Ready Painting, and we're here to help you get you and your models table ready. Thanks for watching.